Hey Lego fam, it's Justin with Good Life Bricks. Thanks for joining me for another great video. Today, I've got an older set released April 1st, 1999. This is Anakin's Podracer, set 7131. It came with 136 pieces and 3 minifigures. It was originally sold for $15 back in 1999, and it retired December 31st of 2000. Today, if you get this new, you'll probably have to pay somewhere around $114. Used, you can probably get it for $27 to $35. Before we get started, I want to ask you to please subscribe to my channel. And if you like what you see today, please click the like button. That helps YouTube get my videos out to more people who might be interested. I would really appreciate it. Now, let's dig in. So here we are looking at Anakin's Podracer. This set came from the Phantom Menace and was a big feature in the first half of the movie, as they talked about the Boonta's Eve pod race and trying to win Anakin's freedom from Watto. It's a set from the second phase of 1999, which is the year that Lego started to release Lego Star Wars. So as you look at this, there is a bit more to the build than is probably necessary or than what they would do today, especially the centerpiece. You know, that's the basic structure of the build, but that's not something that was present in the movie. Basically, you had 2 engines, the cable that attached them to the pod itself, and you didn't have any of this stuff. And you had these 2 that kept the engines connected and working together. I think this was the best Lego could do at the time. I don't have a newer version of the Podracer, but there are newer versions where this is much less present. So what's great about this set, though, is it was the first attempt at something that really turned out pretty cool and was something that people were really excited about from the movie The Phantom Menace. The build itself, beyond this structural piece, is really quite good. The pod is exactly what you would expect. It is exactly what you'd see in the movie. The engines are right on. And these cannon pieces done in a trans neon orange are great use as a connector. You might remember the scene in the movie when Anakin fires up the pod and the engines lift up off the ground and hit Jar Jar. His reaction to that was kind of funny, but I mean, these are, they're serious business in the Star Wars universe. And so they did a pretty good job of replicating these. If there was no structural piece, no need for this structural piece here, I think it would look a lot cooler. So again, it's a very basic build. It's 136 pieces, all told, including the flag and the pit droid, which we'll get into in a minute. I like how they use this hollow tubing to connect the engines to the pod itself. And if you, in your mind's eye, if you can kind of blank out this structural piece, you can get a real sense for what this would have looked like if it had been, well, either in the movie or if it had been done just a little bit closer to the movie version without this structure. And I don't mean to be sounding like I'm complaining. It's just that this shouldn't exist. But it's the only way to keep this Lego together. So again, they have the flag, I think just symbolic of, you saw a lot of flags in the Boonta's Eve portion of the Phantom Menace, and so they gave us that. The level of detail on the engines is quite good. The tail fins and the front fins, which are used for steering and also to rush air in and keep them cool. And you see Anakin use them and the controls to put out a fire at one point on one of the engines as he's flying, or racing, I should say, in the Boonsa's Eve race. So again, it's basic, but it's a good build. It's got a great level of detail, and if you can just blank out that middle piece, man, this thing is dead on accurate. And I really like that. As we look at the minifigures, we have three. The pit droid, which is brick built. I think that was a unique way to do it. We get a pit droid in a Technic build that came out around 99, 2000, 2001, something like that. But this is a great recreation of, and you get a recreation of the droid from the movie, and you get a real sense that that's exactly what you're dealing with here. Next is Padme Nayberry, or Padme Amidala as we know her. Before she became the queen, she was Padme Nayberry, and so that's who they named this character. And it's a good character for, you know, what we saw again in the movie. She had her long hair. Of course, you notice the yellow tone of the skin, but the outfit is right, and the hairstyle itself is right, or close anyway. So that's pretty cool. And this is the first Padme that we saw in Lego. And then we've got Anakin. Anakin Skywalker is, this version has longer legs. And so the more accurate version came a little bit later, where they gave kind of half legs that don't bend. But the outfit is right. The pod racing helmet is right. And, you know, he's got his yellow skin. They still gave him freckles, which is pretty funny. And so I think that looks good. These are very basic minifigures. No back printing, no leg or arm printing, just the front of the body. And they're good figures. For comparison's sake, I grabbed a version of Anakin from 2007. And if you look at them side by side, you see the shorter legs that I was talking about, the what they call light nougat colored skin versus the yellow tone. And this one's just a little bit more realistic, although those arms might be a little bit long for those legs, but you know, he'll grow into them. The other version obviously is wearing his pod racing gear, but their outfits are the same. He's just the 2007 version here is just missing the helmet. So you can see the difference, 1999 versus 2007. Now we have a little bit, maybe more stark difference when it comes to Padme. This is a 2011 version versus the 1999 version. Again, light nougat skin on the 2011. The outfit is very similar. It's intended to be the same, but you can see that they did a little bit more to indicate the actual body shape with the shading on the sides. They gave a skin tone that just doesn't match on the torso, doesn't match the face or the hands, but the face looks a little bit more realistic because of the light nougat skin versus the yellow. Both have maybe a little too much lipstick. This red against the yellow is just funny to me. Basically the same hairstyle, slightly different color. It's a reddish brown on the newer one versus the brown on the older one. And the same black legs or pants. Similar belt buckle. I mean, everything here is intended to be the same, and they came pretty close, but one just looks a little bit more realistic because of the skin tones. So I think from a comparison, you can see there's a big difference in the minifigures from 99 to here 2011 and here 2007. But the intention is that these two would be very comparable, same with these two. And the major change just being the change in the skin tone. So I will say that as it comes back to this set in its entirety, I have fond memories of this set. This was one of the early sets, like I said, from 1999. My dad and I got, I was 24, maybe, I think 24 at the time. And he and I were starting up our Lego Star Wars collection together. And we would get together, and I'd drive from Denver back to Nebraska with my wife, and we would spend a weekend building Legos once a quarter or something like that as new sets came out. And this was in one of those early sessions that we had. And so I have a lot of fondness for this set, but I am not blinded to its faults. And the primary fault, and the thing that keeps me from really loving it, is this structure here that was intended to make this whole thing work. It just isn't authentic, and so it bugs me a little bit. But I can see what Lego was doing, and so that's okay. The minifigures are great, and it's fun to look at where they started and compared to where they are today. And the comparison figures that I showed you were 2007 and 2011, and there have obviously been many newer ones since then, but I thought this was make a good comparison. So that's it for this build. It's a fun set. It's a set worth having. I'm glad I have it in my collection. I actually have two in my collection. So this actual set right here, I am going to be posting on eBay. So if you're interested, at Good Life Bricks on eBay is my store, and I will be posting this in the next week or so. If it's something that you're interested in, leave a comment, let me know, and I can let you know when it's posted. So that's my look back review at set 7131, Anakin's Podracer. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I hope you consider clicking the like button. And I also hope that you will click this subscribe button so that you can be notified of new content every time I post it. I really appreciate you joining me. Glad you were here. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I'm having a blast, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.